It's the war out there, and you feel it in your bones. It's that weight you carry, the battles you fight alone. But here's the truth, no battles, truth, yours alone. The greatest warrior ever was. He got your back. When you're going through the fire, when the world's coming down on you, remember this God fights your battles. Acknowledge the power beyond yourself. Acknowledging the power beyond yourself begins with realizing that as humans, we are often conditioned to believe that everything depends solely on our own efforts, resilience, and willpower. We're taught to push through our limits, to be strong, to persevere no matter what comes our way. But acknowledging a power beyond yourself means taking a step back to recognize that no matter how skilled, determined, or prepared you are, there are certain battles too big, certain challenges too overwhelming to face alone. It's a moment of humility, a recognition that your own strength, though significant, has limits, and that in those limits lies the need for something greater to step in and reinforce you. This isn't a call to surrender your drive or ambition. It's not about passivity or relying on something outside yourself as an excuse to step away from challenges. It's about understanding that there's a deeper level of strength available when you recognize a force that exists beyond your personal efforts. When you acknowledge this power, you open yourself to the idea that not everything is within your control, that sometimes there is value in letting go of the idea that you have to hold everything together on your own. Instead, it's a shift in mindset. You start to see the obstacles before you not as challenges you have to conquer entirely by yourself, but as opportunities to grow where you can rely on this unseen force to give you strength, perspective, endurance. When you face a difficult situation and feel the pressure rising, acknowledging the power beyond yourself brings a profound sense of relief. It's the reminder that you're not alone in your efforts in that. In fact, there's a guiding force working alongside you. This power is steady, unwavering, and ever present, and it steps in exactly when you reach the end of what you alone can handle. There's a sense of calm that comes from this acknowledgement. It's like a protective presence, something that reinforces you and gives you a boost when you reach your limit. You might not be able to see this force or understand it fully, but when you're overwhelmed, when everything feels like too much, you begin to realize that your own strength and determination are enhanced, not limited, by aligning yourself with something infinite. To acknowledge this power is to accept that the world is full of unseen support, guidance, and protection, even in moments when you feel lost or defeated. The battles you face are not all yours to carry. By recognizing this higher force, you're not diminishing your role or your worth. Instead, you're opening yourself to new levels of resilience, new sources of courage, and new perspectives on how to navigate the obstacles you face. And you're choosing to unburden yourself from the weight of thinking you have to do it all, be it all, conquer it all. And this acknowledgement, far from being a sign of weakness, is one of the greatest strengths you can embrace. When you truly understand this, everything changes. You approach your challenges differently, no longer feeling the need to hold on so tightly to control. You're able to lean into this power, find the peace in knowing that there's more at play than your individual actions. And you start to see that even in times of struggle or hardship, you're not facing life without assistance, without reinforcement. You're not abandoning your goals or responsibilities. You're simply expanding your capacity to face them with a force that goes beyond your own. This acknowledgement of a higher power becomes a source of inner peace. It's knowing that no matter how fierce the battle or how great the challenge, you're not fighting it alone. His power beyond yourself is like an endless reserve, an infinite well of support that you can rely on. When you tap into it, you'll find a resilience and strength that doesn't come from your own physical or mental limits, but from something higher, something that exists beyond human limitations. It's a reserve that's always there, always ready to lift you, guide you, and even carry you forward when the weight becomes too much to bear on your own. Surrender your struggles. Surrendering your struggles means accepting that there are certain battles and burdens in life that you simply can't carry alone. It's the act of letting go of the constant need to control every aspect of your journey, acknowledging that sometimes your best efforts aren't enough to solve a problem or overcome a challenge. And surrender doesn't imply weakness or giving up. It's about understanding that there's a profound strength in releasing your hold on the things that weigh you down. When you surrender your struggles, you are not abandoning your goals, but rather inviting a higher force to step in and guide you. You're choosing to let go of the belief that everything is solely up to you, making room for support, guidance, and new possibilities that might otherwise be blocked by your attachment to control. And there's a sense of freedom that comes with surrendering. When you carry struggles alone, you're constantly in a state of tension where you're often frustration, thinking if you push just a little harder, the situation will turn out differently. But surrendering allows you to stop fighting against the things you can't and to instead channel your energy into the things you can. You release the need to understand every detail, to have every answer, and to fix everything yourself. You give yourself permission to pause, to trust, and to rely on something bigger than you, knowing that not everything requires you to have control. Surrendering your struggles doesn't mean you stop caring. Striving, that means you shift the way you approach those struggles. You stop struggles. You stop seeing every setback as a reflection of your limitations and start seeing them as opportunities to lean into faith and trust. When you surrender, you find a different kind of strength, one that isn't about pushing harder, but about allowing yourself to receive help. It's an invitation for peace to enter, even in situations that seem chaotic or overwhelming. You begin to understand that surrendering doesn't lead to defeat, it leads to a different perspective, one where you're not at war with yourself or with life. Instead, you align with a flow that's more powerful, more steady, and more supportive than anything you could achieve alone. This act of surrender often brings a sense of relief, a lightness in knowing that you're not expected to have every solution or to bear every burden alone. It allows you to step back and accept that some struggles are beyond your capacity to solve. By surrendering, you're acknowledging that there's a process at work that you can't always see or control, and that's okay. You give yourself permission to trust, to let go of constant worry, and to embrace a path where you don't have to force every outcome. Embrace faith, not fear. Embracing faith over fear is about choosing a mindset of trust and belief instead of letting anxiety and doubt take over. Faith is the conviction that things will ultimately work out, even if you can't see exactly how in the moment. Fear, on the other hand, is rooted in uncertainty and tends to focus on the worst possible outcomes. When you embrace faith, you're consciously deciding to believe in something positive beyond what's immediately visible, a belief that guides you to take steps forward, even when the path seems unclear or intimidating. It's an internal assurance that gives you strength and encourages you to keep going, no matter how challenging things might appear. But faith isn't just about blind optimism. It's about grounding yourself in the idea that you are not alone and facing your difficulties and that there's a larger plan at work. This doesn't mean you ignore reality or deny the existence of challenges. Instead, you choose not to let those challenges define your outlook or control your actions. Fear has a way of paralyzing you, holding you back from taking risks or from pursuing goals that feel out of reach. When fear takes hold, it often limits your vision, clouding your ability to see possibilities and solutions. But faith keeps you looking forward, reminding you that each step, no matter how small, is part of a greater journey that's unfolding. Embracing faith also brings an inner calm that allows you to handle stress and setbacks with resilience. Fear tends to amplify every difficulty, making even small obstacles seem insurmountable. Faith, however, offers perspective. It allows you to see setbacks as temporary and as part of a larger process rather than final outcomes. This faith-driven approach encourages you to keep your head up, to move forward even when you're facing adversity, and to trust that there is a purpose behind the challenges you're experiencing. And you start to see obstacles not as signs to turn back, but as chances to grow, adapt, and build strength. In this way, faith becomes a guiding force, offering you stability when everything else feels uncertain. Choosing faith over fear also strengthens your confidence as you start to believe more in your ability to navigate whatever comes your way. Fear often makes you doubt yourself, leading you to question whether you're capable of handling the unknown. But with faith, you're grounded in a belief that you're equipped with the resources, both internal and external, to meet any challenge. This doesn't mean you always know exactly what to do, but faith assures you that the guidance, support, and clarity you need will appear as you move forward. Embracing faith over fear transforms the way you experience life's obstacles, allowing you to move through them with courage, hope, and a resilient spirit. Seeing God as the ultimate warrior. Seeing God as the ultimate warrior is recognizing that there's a force far greater than human strength or understanding fighting on your behalf. It means believing that in every battle, every challenge, God is actively working for your victory, even in ways that may not be visible. This view sees God not just as a distant observer, but as a powerful protector who steps into the hardest fights, wielding strength and authority beyond what we can imagine. God's role as the ultimate warrior implies that no obstacle, no enemy, and no struggle is too much for him to confront. Where human efforts fail or fall short, God's power remains limitless, capable of overcoming barriers and pushing back against anything that threatens your well-being or purpose. And viewing God as the ultimate warrior brings a sense of security because it means that you are never alone on the battlefield of life. Even when you're at your weakest, when you feel defeated or worn down, there's a strength at work on your behalf that doesn't tire, doesn't waver, and doesn't back down. God's warrior nature is a reminder that no matter how formidable the challenge, he is more formidable, still willing to go to any length to protect, support, and uplift you. This perspective allows you to face difficulties with courage, knowing that you have a force beside you that is always ready to fight with unmatched power. Believing in God as the ultimate warrior also shifts the way you approach battles. You no longer have to carry the burden of feeling like every fight is yours alone to win. Instead, you can step forward with faith, knowing that your efforts are backed by a warrior whose strength has no limits and whose commitment to you is unbreakable. You may not see the ways he's working, and you may not always understand his methods, but trusting in his warrior nature gives you confidence in the outcome. God fights with a purpose, aiming not only for victory, but for growth, healing, and transformation. This belief gives a sense of purpose to your struggles as you realize they are not only about enduring hardship, but about emerging stronger with a warrior fighting alongside you. This view of God's warrior nature also teaches resilience. Life's battles can be fierce and the path can be grueling, but knowing God as the ultimate warrior inspires you to keep moving forward, assured that he's clearing the path ahead. There may be times when the battle is intense and progress seems slow, but God's warrior spirit never falters. His presence becomes a source of inner strength, reminding you that every obstacle, no matter how overwhelming, is an opportunity for him to show his power and for you to experience his unyielding support. This belief isn't a call to sit back and wait for God to do everything, but rather an invitation to stand in faith, fighting alongside him, knowing that your strength combined with his warrior might will lead to victory. Never fight alone. Never fighting alone means understanding that no matter what you face, you are never truly isolated in your struggles. It's about recognizing that there is always support, whether from a higher power, loved ones, or the strength within you that's available to cope you through every battle. But often when life gets tough, it feels like the weight of the world is on your shoulders. And it can seem like you're the only one facing the challenge. But when you embrace the idea of never fighting alone, you acknowledge that there is more to the story. Well, even when you can't see it, there's always something greater working alongside you, guiding you and giving you the strength to press on. This belief shifts your perspective, allowing you to face challenges with the understanding that you don't need to handle everything by yourself. It allows you to release the pressure of needing to be self-sufficient at all costs. But instead, you recognize that leaning on others and trusting the support around you doesn't make you weak, it makes you stronger. When you never fight alone, you understand that sometimes strength comes from unity, from having people who believe in you, from having a source of strength outside of yourself that you can rely on. The idea also deepens your connection to the world around you. It helps you see that you're part of something bigger than just your individual experience. There's comfort in knowing that when you're struggling, others are there with you, whether it's someone who's walked the same path, a community offering encouragement, or the belief that divine help is available. You begin to see that each battle is not yours to face in isolation, but part of a larger journey. Even when you feel disconnected or alone, the reminder that you're not in this fight by yourself can reignite your determination to keep moving forward. In times of weakness or doubt, never fighting alone helps you remember that you're not abandoned. There's a steady presence that's always been there, even when you didn't recognize it. It's about trusting that even in your darkest hours, you have unseen support fighting with you, fighting for you. This understanding brings peace as it takes away the pressure to be everything and do everything by yourself. It shifts your mindset from one of burden to one of partnership, where you're able to continue to show up and push forward, knowing you have the resource to do so, even if they don't always come in the form you expect. Release the need to control. Releasing the need to control means letting go of the constant urge to manage every aspect of your life, every outcome, and every detail. It's about recognizing that the desire for control often stems from fear, insecurity, or the illusion that if you can just hold everything in your grip, you'll be safe, successful, or happy. But this need to control can be exhausting, limiting, and ultimately counterproductive because life is unpredictable and you can't control everything that happens. Releasing this need doesn't mean giving up on your goals or resigning yourself to passivity. It means accepting that some things are simply beyond your ability to influence or predict. When you release the need to control, you shift from a mindset of resistance to one of trust and openness. You stop fighting against the flow of life. Instead, you begin to flow with it. This doesn't mean that you don't take action or make decisions, but rather that you make them with an understanding that no matter how much effort you put in, the outcome is not entirely up to you. By releasing the need to control, you acknowledge that your plan might not always unfold as expected, and that's okay. You make peace with uncertainty, allowing yourself to be more adaptable and resilient in the face of the unknown. Letting go of control also means relinquishing the illusion of perfection. Many times the need to control arises from the belief that everything has to go a certain way for things to be right. This leads to anxiety, stress, and a constant feeling of being out of balance because life is full of unpredictability and imperfection. Releasing control allows you to embrace the beauty in imperfection and in the perfection, in the unexpected. It gives you permission to experience life as it comes rather than always trying to make everything fit within your limited understanding of how it should be. This release creates space for growth and transformation. When you control everything, you limit the possibilities of what could happen. You lock yourself into rigid expectations and cut off the potential for new opportunities or experiences that could arise if you simply allowed them to unfold naturally. Releasing control gives you the freedom to learn from mistakes, to take risks, and to explore paths that you may never have considered if you're trying to micromanage every step. The act of releasing control also allows you to experience peace as you stop carrying the weight of trying to force outcomes. It frees you from the anxiety of needing things to go perfectly and opens you to the comfort of knowing that in the end, you can only control how you respond to life, not what happens. By trusting the process and relinquishing the tight grip on every detail, you make room for deeper faith, resilience, and clarity in navigating the journey ahead. Patience in the process. Patience in the process is the ability to remain calm and composed while navigating through the journey of life, especially when progress seems slow, uncertain, or difficult. It's about understanding that not everything happens instantly, and that growth, healing, success, or change take time. In a world where instant gratification is often sought, patience in the process requires a shift in mindset. Instead of getting frustrated or discouraged by the time it takes the results, you embrace the understanding that the process itself is just as valuable as the destination. When you practice patience, you begin to realize that some of life's most significant transformations or achievements don't happen overnight. They require persistence, resilience, and a willingness to keep moving forward, even when the results aren't immediately visible. Patience helps you manage your expectations and teaches you to appreciate the small steps, even the ones that might seem insignificant at the time. It's a recognition that every part of the journey, even the difficult mundane moments, can contribute to your ultimate growth. Patience in the process also means trusting in timing. You learn to go to pressure, to rush, or to make things happen on your own schedule. Instead, you develop faith that everything unfolds in its own time. But this doesn't mean you stop taking action or putting in the effort, but you stop forcing outcomes. You begin to trust that the seeds you plant today will grow in their own time, and that patience is often the key ingredient in allowing them to flourish. Embracing patience also helps to manage stress and anxiety. When you're constantly focused on the end goal or worrying about how much longer it will take, it's easy to become overwhelmed. Patience allows you to stay grounded, to focus on what's within your control, and to release the anxiety about what's not. It gives you the perspective to see that each challenge, no matter how frustrating it may seem, is part of the process that builds your strength, character, and resilience. In addition, patience fosters a deeper sense of gratitude. As you move through the process, you begin to appreciate the lessons and growth that come with each step. The struggles and delays that once felt like setbacks now appear as opportunities to learn and improve. Patience teaches you to trust that all things, good and bad, are leading to something better, and encourages you to remain committed to your goals without needing immediate validation. Unseen strength. Unseen strength is the inner resilience, power, and determination that exists within a person, often hidden from others and sometimes even from the person themselves until it is tested. It's a strength that doesn't rely on physical appearance, status, or outward displays of power, but instead resides in the quiet, enduring capacity to face challenges, keep moving forward, and persevere in the face of adversity. This strength may not always be visible to the outside world, but is present, quietly shaping how a person navigates difficult circumstances and grows through them. Unseen strength is most evident when you're pushed to your limits, when life becomes overwhelming, and when external solutions seem unavailable. It's the ability to keep going even when everything within you tells you to stop, to retreat, or to cheat, or to give up. It's often cultivated in moments of hardship when you have no choice but to rely on something deeper than what you can see or understand. It's in the moments when you find a way to keep your head up, take another step, and push through pain, doubt, or fear, even when the results are immediately apparent. What makes unseen strength so powerful is that It is not dependent on validation or recognition. It doesn't need an audience, and it doesn't require applause. This strength comes from an internal that keeps you grounded, allowing you to continue to fight even when no one else is watching. It's the quiet resolve to rise up after each setback, to get back on your feet after failure, and to keep showing up even when the world seems indifferent. Often, this strength is built in the moments when no one is there to cheer you on, when you're alone with your thoughts and your fears, yet you continue anyway. Unseen strength also represents the courage to remain committed to your values, your mission, and your sense of purpose, regardless of how difficult or uncertain the path ahead may seem. It's about staying true to yourself even when external circumstances try to sway you or when others doubt your ability to continue. It's a strength that comes from knowing who you are, why you're doing what you're doing, and trusting that the efforts, though unseen, are still significant. This inner power is built through consistency, resilience, and faith in yourself, and it's what ultimately carries you through life's toughest moments. So unseen strength may not be acknowledged by the world. It is incredibly transformative. It's in the ability to rise from failure to keep pushing forward and grow in pursuit of a dream when the path is unclear, and to hold on when it seems like all's lost. This strength doesn't announce itself or seek attention. It simply manifests in the quiet actions, in the moments of perseverance, and in the ongoing fight to live, grow, and become stronger with every challenge faced. Victory may look different. Victory may look different because success doesn't always unfold in the way we expect or desire. It's easy to have a fixed idea of what winning or achieving looks like based on our personal standards, societal domain, or the outcomes we expectations, or the outcomes we've seen in others' lives. However, victory is often more nuanced, and the path to it can be varied, unpredictable, and unique to each individual. What might appear as defeat or failure on the surface can, in reality, be a form of victory in disguise, one that shapes a person's character, deepens their resilience, or teaches lessons that are far more valuable than immediate success. Victory doesn't look like crossing the finish line in first place or achieving a goal in the originally envisioned. It might look like having the strength to keep going when everything inside of you says to quit. It might look like the courage to start over after a setback, or the wisdom to let go of something that isn't meant for you. Even when it's hard, true victory is not just in the result, but in the growth, transformation, and progress made along the way. It's about understanding that the challenge you face and the lessons you learn through those struggles are just as important, if not more so, than the final outcome. Victory may also look different because it doesn't always align with the immediate rewards or recognition that others might expect. In some cases, victory from a personal satisfaction, self-improvement, or quiet perseverance that may never be noticed by the world. It might not come with a trophy, an award, or public applause, but still valid and significant. The way you carry yourself, the way you overcome obstacles, and the way you grow in ways that others cannot see, these are victories that are just as meaningful, though less tangible. What victory looks like may also evolve over time. When we are younger, we often define success by external markers, money, fame, or status. But as life unfolds, we may come to realize that victory is not about those things at all. It might be about peace of mind, a deeper sense of purpose, the strength to handle adversity, or the ability to maintain integrity and kindness even when faced with challenges. In this sense, victory is a shifting concept, one that takes on new meanings as we grow and learn more about ourselves and the world. The hardest victories are the ones where the outcome is not a clear win by conventional standards. But these moments where you face your fears, challenge your own limits, and push through difficulties that seem insurmountable, create a victory that cannot be measured by anything other than your own inner growth. In this way, victory may look like resilience, patience, or the quiet strength to continue despite not seeing immediate results. It is not always the dramatic headline making success, but often a quiet, personal triumph that shapes who we are and how we approach the future. God's timing is perfect. God's timing is perfect means that everything unfolds according to a divine plan that is beyond human understanding, and it happens at exactly the right moment, even if that moment doesn't align with our own expectations or desires. While we often want things to happen on our own schedule, God's timing works on a deeper level, guided by wisdom that sees the bigger picture of our lives and the world around us. It's the understanding that there's a purpose behind every season, every delay, every setback, and every success, even if we can't see the full scope of that purpose at the time. When we experience delays or obstacles, it's easy to become frustrated, questioning why things aren't happening as quickly as we think they should. However, trusting in God's timing means recognizing that some things take time to unfold, and the wait, while difficult, is part of the process. There may be lessons to learn, growth to be had, or circumstances to fall into place before the next step can be taken. God's timing ensures that when the moment is right, things will fall into place in ways that will work out for our highest good, even if it's different from what we imagined. But we think we're ready for something before we truly are. God's timing often works in a way that prepares us for what's ahead. Even when we can't see it, we may think we're ready for success, a new relationship, or a change, but God knows when we are spiritually, emotionally, or physically prepared to handle it in the way that will benefit us the most. What seems like a delay or an unanswered prayer may simply be part of the process, building us up for what's to come. The right opportunities, relationships, or blessings will appear at the right time when we are ready to receive them with the right heart, perspective, and strength. God's timing also protects us from things we may not be able to see. Sometimes what seems like a setback is actually a divine redirection, keeping us from situations that might not be in our best interest or cause us to avoid harm. The delays we experience can be His way of guiding us away from decisions or circumstances that will not align with His plan for us. The frustrations we face may be building our faith, teaching us patience, and helping us develop a deeper trust in His guidance. The more we accept that God's time is perfect, the more we begin to see how everything has worked together for our good, even if it was unclear in the moment. Trusting in God's timing is about surrendering our own plans and understanding that His plans for us are greater than anything we could have imagined. It's about stepping into each season of life with faith, knowing that everything will happen when it's supposed to, even if it requires waiting, even if it challenges us to let go of control. It's this trust that allows us to rest in the certainty that we are not alone in the process, and that everything is unfolding in the way it is meant to for our growth, for our purpose, and for our ultimate good. In conclusion, remember that the battles you face are not yours to fight alone. God's strength, timing, and plan are at work in your life, guiding you through every challenge and struggle. The process may be tough, but every setback, every delay, and every difficulty is a stepping stone toward the victory that is uniquely yours. Patience, faith, and trust in God's perfect time will carry you through. And in the end, the strength you build and the growth you experience will be your ultimate reward. There's good luck on your journey, and remember that you are never alone in the fight. Stay strong, trust the process, and keep pushing forward. Thank you for facing this path, and know that every step you take brings you close to the purpose and victory that awaits you. Keep your faith alive and trust the best is yet to come.